Boston Bar Association, representing more than 10,000 lawyers, reportedly releasing an internal study strongly opposing the death penalty in federal cases. Now, this comes as federal prosecutors are considering whether to seek the death penalty for marathon bombing suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. We did invite the Boston Bar Association's president, Paul Dacier, to join us. He is unavailable. But for some perspective on this, we bring in attorney David Yannetti, who joins us from our Beacon Hill studio tonight. And let's start off with the timing of the announcement, David. First of all, I mean, this organization's been around for 250 years, quarter of a century. But now this study comes out, and they say no to the death penalty as far as federal cases are concerned. Tell us about the timing a little bit.
Well, this decision is really consistent with the position that the Boston Bar Association has always taken with regard to the death penalty. I think the timing is relevant in terms of the Tsarnaev case that is upcoming, and they felt that it's appropriate for them to speak out at this time with regard to federal cases.
How much influence do you think this would have on a case like the one that's upcoming for the suspected marathon bomber? Well,
it's tough to say. The decision is made in Washington, obviously. But I will say that the Boston Bar Association assembled a very impressive crew of respected judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, people that command a lot of respect in Massachusetts, and it is their credibility that I think does give a lot of weight to this opinion.
You know, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, as you mentioned, he's set to decide by the end of the month whether he will seek the death penalty in that case. Also, prosecutors continue to seek capital punishment for admitted serial killer Gary Lee Sampson. Could this study influence the decision at all?
It's possible. I think that Attorney General Holder will likely, review this case in all aspects. And, the climate in Massachusetts and the desires of the people who know Massachusetts and work within this legal system, I think would at least be one of the factors that he may consider.
What are the benefits to banning, the death penalty in federal cases? I know I've read up on it. They talk about the fact that it's, more trials, costs more money, all those things. But I think if you look at it from the standpoint of loved ones who have lost victims to violent crimes at the hands of these murderers, they have a different take on this altogether.
Well, sure. And, I think you can evaluate this issue without being insensitive, to people who have lost loved ones. We have a terrific system of justice, but it is not infallible. And as someone who has been hired by someone who was convicted of first-degree murder, served 16 years in jail in a state prison, and then was later exonerated after I got involved, I have personal experience knowing that the system is not perfect. Again, that was a first-degree murder case that I was involved in, which, if the death penalty were legal in Massachusetts, that could have applied in that case, and he never would have gotten his second trial. He would have been executed.
I can understand that, but I think by and large, there are going to be people who will say that these people took someone's life and they should be held accountable for that, and some people will say even worse, they should be put to death.
Well, I think you've hit on the issue. Again, we're basing these decisions regarding whether somebody should be put to death based upon the verdict of a jury and then the continuing verdict of a jury asking for death or imposing the death penalty. There are cases, and in fact, this task force put together by the Boston Bar Association detailed cases where people have been wrongfully convicted and where they actually didn't kill somebody,
right,
but was potentially subject to the death penalty anyway.
Well, you can understand if you bring it at that point as well, and it's a back and forth always, but people will hopefully find out, going forward that the proper judgment in this case will be administered. Certainly, we appreciate your time tonight. Attorney David Yannetti, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate
My pleasure. Thank you.
Be interesting to watch going forward. Maria.